It's May 2022, and we're gonna finish the fight. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I am GeneralLotz, and today it's May of 2022. Oh dear, the insanity is real, but hey, next month I get to dress up as Master Chief and meet the real Master Chief. Yes, Dallas Fan Expo is going to be having the excellent Steve Downs, and I just so happen to have a Master Chief costume, although I'm not wearing the whole thing, and good God, this thing is hot. Ugh. But still, though, this, of course, is the Master Chief costume. Well, this is the helmet from the Master Chief costume that you can actually get off of Amazon for a very cheap price. Well, cheap in costume terms. And I'm really looking forward to dressing up in that heat box and meeting the ineffable Steve Downs. Also, I've got the M60 pistol. Oh my god! It is a really kind of wonky design, but it's really cool and looks really good with the Mjolnir design. So, May 2022 is filled with a lot of insanity. 2022 is a rather interesting year. If the Predator existed, he would definitely either A, be having a great time, or B, not really, because the quality of people we have today is pretty low. Oh, dearie me. You know, people always ask, like, why are there so many crazies out? And then you look at, you know, the insanity of what's being said and what's being done. It's like, well, there's your answer. When you got people who can't define what a woman is and think biological men can get pregnant, oh dear, what has happened? But instead of just sitting around here talking about politics, let's get on with some fun stuff. I may touch on some of the current events later in the video, but for right now, let's just stick with stuff that's happy. You know, a couple days ago, the power went out, and in order to work from home, I had to go to a place that had power, and so all I had was my workstation and my phone, and I missed out on a whole day's worth of politics, and I just felt so much happier. I had no idea what was going on, and it didn't really matter. Sometimes you just gotta, like, decompress from politics, decompress from the news, and just live your life as best you can. As of this recording, it's just a couple days till Memorial Day. Gonna have a lot of barbecued stuff, chicken, pork, ribs, hamburgers, all the good stuff. Can't wait. Now, realistically, though, Memorial Day is a day for remembrance. My stepfather actually served in Vietnam and got shot 3 times, and we're, of course, going to be honoring his memory. Sadly, he passed a little over a year ago from pancreatic cancer. He fought the good fight, and he lasted as long as he possibly could. He was a badass. So anyway, upcoming reviews. Let's just segue from serious and have some fun. The upcoming reviews are, of course, Call of Duty 3, which I realize is kind of a, I did not plan it that way, but COD 3 is likely going to go up on Memorial Day. Shut up, I planned it that way. Nobody has to know that it's completely by accident. COD 3 is a collaboration between myself and Akbar Fan. Him and I have done some videos in the past, and it turned out pretty good. It's very short, but then again, there's not much you can really say about a COD game, even a COD game as good as Call of Duty 3. Now, June, despite me cosplaying as Master Chief, I'm going to work on a RPG review, and the RPG is going to be Outward. I've mentioned this a lot. It is a really good game, and I finally get to show y'all just how good it is. That's probably going to be like a 30, maybe 40-minute long video, because it is a huge game with a lot of gameplay mechanics, a pretty good story, even if it is very simple. There's not a lot of cutscenes or a lot of even voice acting, but it's still pretty good. And so that's going to be the review for the month of June. Now, July, I'm not sure what I'm going to be reviewing yet. I've planned out the next few reviews. They're always subject to change because I might find a different game or get inspired to do something else. But the next planned reviews are going to be Batman Arkham Asylum. I'm not sure when that one's going to be because that one's going to be... I'm going to be self-indulgent. I'm going to dress up as Batman in front of a green screen, and that's going to take forever. I've already got all the footage for that. I also want to review Halo 2. I also want to review AVP 2, and maybe one other game, but I'm not sure what that other game might be. It's probably just going to be those 3, just because I have a very limited amount of time. I am, despite insane people out there, still going to be doing some gun stuff, finally. Finally put a scope on the PTR-91, and I'm going to, one day, make it to the rifle range, although I don't know what day that's going to be. and just do some accuracy testing with the PTR with an actual magnified optic. Once I get to do that, I will put out a video on the accuracy of the PTR 91 at 100 yards. Really, a rifle like that can go out to like 500-600, but I don't have access to that kind of range. But I'm not sure when that's going to be. I have some ideas to potentially try a number of book reviews, but once again, I'm just really limited in time. I mean, Master Chief costumes don't come cheap, so I take as much overtime as I can get. So there's that, and also I have my other hobbies. We'll get back to videos in just a moment. I want to fillet myself a little. Oh my! Yes, what we have here is a model that I've recently constructed. I mentioned making models as one of my hobbies in a past vlog, and so what we have here is my fully painted and assembled Crack class cruiser from Star Wars. This, of course, was primarily seen in the West End games, and picked up one of these little 3D printed models and assembled this over about a month. Well, I didn't really assemble it, painted it over about a month. It was really just 3 pieces, the front and back and then the middle, which was easy enough, but I painted all these little details. What was kind of annoying about painting this bloody thing was the fact that it's very small. My little magnifying glass light, the light kept going out, so I'm trying to paint these little teeny tiny details, come on focus, in the dark, and that was not easy. And look at that little bloody sticker. Yes, I actually did that. But I'm really happy to do the crack class here. Now, I do have Star Trek stickers. This is a Federation crack class. Much better than the Imperial one. This is the USS Hurricane. Because, well, Hurricanes are cool. Originally, this was going to be the Sam Houston, but I couldn't get the decals to come out right, so I just went ahead and used these pre-mades. Still, though, USS Hurricane, pretty cool. I've got a lot of other models I'm going to work on just when I get the time. The next model I do plan on building is a 2,000-piece Battlestar Galactica 1978 Lego. So back to videos. Book reviews. I'm definitely thinking of trying to get maybe a compendium of book reviews just to give you all like a really good breakdown of what books to take a look at. But once again, that would be like 50, 60 or more little mini reviews, and that would take a long time. I do the best I can with what time I have. So we'll see about that. And I'm kind of tempted to do like a overview of like the Halo TV series and maybe like Strange New Worlds, but once again, that all takes time, and I'm not sure if I'd get the time to do it, so we'll just have to see. Next live streams are going to be Halo 2. That's going to be going on, I think, the day after this video comes out. I'm looking forward to that. Halo 2 isn't that bad, but it's not very good either. You can definitely tell it was rushed. And we'll be going through the original Xbox version. Let's see. Then after that, I'm going to be doing a series of fan live streams of Aliens, Colonial Marines. I'm going to be getting on Discord and having sort of an open mic sort of thing. And sort of an open co-op slot sort of thing, and playing that with fans and torturing myself with an absolutely abysmal game. And I'm not going to install that improvement mod. Oh no! We're going to play OG Colonial Marines to show just how truly god-awful that game was. I mean, Colonial Marines was so bad. It was... Actually, I take that back. It was so bad, but I was going to compare it to like Star Trek Discovery, but it's not that bad. It was still pretty bad, though. I think I was a bit naive thinking how bad things could get. So, yeah, and then after that, I'm going to be doing Medal of Honor Allied Assault. There's actually a graphics mod for that doesn't work. So we're going to be using a lesser graphics mod, but that actually works. And I'll be playing that game in 2K. I'm really looking forward to doing like all those live streams. I'm kind of like really excited to finally play Medal of Honor Allied Assault again, because I haven't played that game in about 10 years. And I still remember when that game came out, getting that from my old Dell PC, and I remember paying $50 for that. Now you can get it for like $1. But like Medal of Honor, that was like the shit for a while. Like that was like one of the best World War II, actually it was the only World War II first-person shooter on PCs for a while. Hell of a lot of fun. Can't wait to play it. So let's see. Now we've talked about the videos. Media... Damn you, phone. Media recommendations. Captain's Oath by Christopher L. Bennett is a book I highly recommend. It's actually one of the few new Alpha Prime books I've come across. It chronicles Captain Kirk's previously unknown adventures on his first command. His first command was not the Enterprise. His first command was the Sacagawea, and it was like a one-to-cell destroyer scout kind of vessel. And it was really cool seeing him go from this new captain to the captain of the Enterprise. Now, Gary Mitchell was a character that we saw in one episode of TOS, and he appeared in Where No Man Has Gone Before, and then he died. Spoiler alert for a show that's 50 years old. The book really makes Gary Mitchell out to be a really cool character, and so now I can't really watch Where No Man Has Gone Before quite the same way again. There's a lot of really cool plot lines, like hidden alien civilizations and all kind. It has, like, in a short book, they have more plot going on than like 6 books out of like an Amazon book series. It's really good. I also did a reread of the first 4 Halo novels. Those are some of the best military science fiction of all time, in my opinion. They're very good military science fiction, but they're very brief and they don't waste a lot of time. Halo Fall of Reach by Eric Nyland, really damn good space opera / military science fiction. It just goes from point to point to point, doesn't waste time, doesn't just stop, and it was just really quite good. Seeing the rise of Spartan 117, aka Master Chief, the real one, was really cool. Halo the Flood is for some reason maligned, although I couldn't say as to why. It expands on what happens in the games. It introduces a whole set of new characters, like where did the Marines come from? It's the little details in Halo the Flood that I really like, because it actually has Master Chief be human. Master Chief needs to sleep. He needs to eat. He needs to do all this stuff. And so it really makes his trials in Halo 1 that much more real, because he is suffering towards the end. And it's really good. Halo First Strike, also by Eric Nyland, is a really good continuation, although it does drag towards the middle. And I like the fact that he reunites with his other Spartan buddies. And it has a really, really cool conclusion that I think would have been a much better game than Halo 2. And then Halo Ghosts of Onyx by Eric Nyland. Pretty good, but it's a guide-in story to the mainline story going on in Halo 2. I think Halo 2 and 3 really needed novelizations to really flesh out the characters and events. Because to me, it feels like the Halo story just kind of stopped with Ghosts of Onyx. So we don't really know the details of the human Sangheili alliance or anything. We don't know the greater thoughts of the Arbiter or anything like that. And I really wanted to know those, because the first 4 Halo books really created this really awesome universe, and then just after that, it kind of dropped off. I do intend to read a couple of other Halo books from around that era. I can definitely tell you, though, I tried to read a modern-day Halo book, Halo Ghosts of Reach by Troy Denning. Now, I seemed to remember that Troy Denning was actually a halfway decent writer, because he wrote a number of Star Wars books, and I remember those being pretty good. Unfortunately, his Halo book was absolute trash. It was the slowest paced piece of crap I've read in a long time. I couldn't even finish it. It took him a chapter to finally land on Reach. And when he lands on Reach, nothing of really any big interest happens, and he spends like, I don't know how many pages just trying to dig out a pilot. It was so boring. When you compare that to an Eric Nyland work, in Eric Nyland's Ghosts of Onyx, what ends up happening is, in the first 5 pages, you have an awesome orbital drop, you have a lot of shorthand used to establish some new characters, and there's so much stuff that happened. In Ghosts of Reach, it's just nothing. Very seldom have I been let down by a book like that. So yeah, don't recommend that. Let's see, I also recommend reading Monster Hunter Alpha by Larry Correia. I've already read all the Monster Hunter series, but that was a number of years ago, so I'm doing a reread of that. Monster Hunter Alpha is very good. It's about a werewolf character named, what was his name? Rusty Shackelford, I think is what his name was. But it's like his real name, but like his fake name is Earl Harbinger. He's established in the first 2 books of the Monster Hunter series, and this is his solo book. But it's not from the first person perspective like the first 2 books. It's from a third person, and there's some cool characters introduced. There's a lot of really cool fights. There's undead werewolves that get mulched I don't want to spoil any more than that, but it's pretty cool. Larry Correia can actually write real female characters, and so that's pretty neat. And so all those books, highly recommend them. So let's recap. Captain's Oath by Christopher L. Bennett. The Halo quadrilogy by Eric Nyland. Oh, one other guy, and then Eric Nyland. And then finally Monster Hunter Alpha by Larry Correia. Now moving on to TV. Halo the TV show has concluded, and thank Yasmir it has. Now I have tried to defend the Halo TV series, saying like, well, just it's another universe. I like to think of it as like the Lieutenant and not, Master Chief. But even I can't apologize for that show anymore, because in the last 2 episodes, it goes completely off the rails to the point where it's terrible. It is just a betrayal of all the Halo fans and people who just want good TV. You have Master Chief, who is basically Space Captain America, get, shall we say, horizontal with a Covenant spy? Was that the best idea? You couldn't have him fall in love with one of his Spartans, like, say, Spartan Kai, the hot muscle babe? That was a betrayal enough, but then at the end, and then I don't care if you consider this a spoiler or not, I'm saving you the pain and anguish of watching this. Master Chief, Spartan 117, that guy is killed at the end of the show. Now, that might not be that bad. Think about it. Master Chief dies in a heroic manner, and he's replaced by one of the other Spartans. That didn't happen. Oh no. Basically, the showrunners threw a big middle finger to the fans and just jammed it straight into your eye. Master Chief is possessed by Cortana. That's right. Master Chief dies, and his meat puppet is controlled by Cortana. Needless to say, I was most angered indeed. I mean, imagine if Luke Skywalker had been killed and then Rey took over his... Oh, wait! She took Skywalker and his lightsaber and his ship! So, throw a big middle finger to Halo the TV series. But retract the middle finger for Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Now, Star Trek has pretty much been dead since 2005. The Kelvinverse was fun, but was ultimately just popcorn cinema. By which I mean, popcorn cinema has a deeper meaning than what you might think it means. It doesn't mean you're shoveling down popcorn. You can shovel down popcorn in anything. No. A popcorn movie is just as insubstantial as a piece of popcorn. That's why it's sort of an insult. That's why I wouldn't call certain other movies like popcorn movies. I wouldn't call, say, Iron Man 1 or Captain America a popcorn movie, because there is some substance. But the Kelvinverse had no real substance, although I may give Star Trek Beyond another chance. We'll see. But really, not much substance there. Not really. A lot of it was filled with contrivances and stuff like that, and it was just kind of cheap. Kind of like Transformers, but with Star Trek characters. So, 2017, we get STD, or Star Trek Discovery, a show so heinous that I have to say that it's tied with... Actually, I'd say it's worse than Halo. It's worse than that. Star Trek Discovery is the most... Basically, the writers had their heads so far up their asses, you could barely tell where one end began and one ended, It was so bad. It was the most pretentious shit ever. I can tell you how pretentious it was just by telling you the episode 1 title. Vulcan Hello. They thought that sounded clever. It was not. Star Trek has always been an ensemble show. You have the crew, you have the captain, you have the commander, you have the chief engineer, you have the doctor, you have other little characters here and there. Star Trek Discovery has one character, Michael Burnham. Is that a guy? No, that's a female. That's Spock's sister. Did you know that Spock had a sister? It had such stupidity in it that it was just... Let me put it this way. I would say it has to be seen to be believed, but good God, was it bad. One of the things that some of the outrage merchants like to talk about is the space sonar. That's the least of that show's problems. Like with Halo, Master Chief taking off his helmet, that's the least of his problems. The fact they killed him off and have him possessed by an AI, that's the problem. STD had something quite like that. Basically, there were no characters other than Michael Burnham. There was just so much stupidity. Like, there were Vulcan terrorists. Yes, Vulcan terrorists. And Michael Burnham magically invents a machine to mind meld over interstellar distances and gets in a fist fight with Sarek in his brain. That is the stupidest thing anyone has heard all day. Well, unless you've heard about, biological men can get pregnant. So, yeah, STD, bad. Star Trek Picard, even worse, where it's just a bunch of boring characters doing nothing of any real import. Star Trek Strange New Worlds, on the other hand, Captain, Commander, other officers, really awesome Chief Engineer named Himmet. The first 4 episodes have been nothing but excellent. Good old-fashioned Star Trek goodness. So good, in fact, I had to buy an Eagle Moss model of the new Enterprise. And the new Enterprise looks pretty good. It's not just a bunch of idiotic techno crap vomited up on the screen in CG. Instead, it looks a lot like the original Star Trek design, and it actually has a coherent art design to it. The guy playing Captain Pike, nothing short of excellent. Screw General Order 1. Everybody just turns in a great performance. There doesn't appear to be agenda on display, and while there's a little wokeness here and there, it's really good. I would recommend giving that show a try. It is probably the best piece of TV I have seen since The Orville. Evidently, there's supposed to be another season of The Orville coming to Hulu. We'll see if it's any good. Trailer looks okay, but there's no way to know. Let's see. Also, awesome new poster, USS Sulaco. Be nice if we got an Aliens TV series, but that'll never happen. Can you imagine a TV series where colonial marines go from planet to planet trying to track down xenomorphs? Yeah. But, oh well, ladies and gentlemen. On the cosplay front, going to be cosplaying as Master Chief. Really excited about that. But I'm also going to be continuing the construction of my Mandalorian costume. Initially, I wanted to make a one-to-one screen-accurate version of the Mandalorian TV show costume, but I decided I wanted to modify it a little bit and sort of make it my own thing. So I'm going to drop the cape, get a Boba Fett back piece, get some new greaves and knee pieces and new thigh pieces, and kind of just be the GeneralLotz Mandalorian. I'm pretty excited about that too. So we'll see how good that turns out. I will be posting some pictures on the Facebook page. So, politics. I saved the worst for last. Politically, everything's insane. Inflation is up. The rhetoric has ratcheted up to insane levels. Stuff like that. I've often wondered, we talk about how children need to have a lot more security. But I remember when I was a kid, we had none of that. I mean, I remember, when I was in elementary school, they didn't open the school until it was time for it to open. They just left kids out there. And people were pretty much safe. But we live in a world where felons are let go on very low bail. Uh-oh. We live in a post-defund disband world, so there's fewer cops than ever before. Uh-oh. And so whenever there's some sort of shooting, as has happened in Texas recently, there's always the calls for gun bans, but that's not going to solve anything. Even if you magically made every gun disappear, all you would do is just disarm people who need them. Individual citizens need firearms. There are fewer police because police have been demonized. There's more criminals because, well, several reasons. One, there is this mistaken belief that people are disproportionately targeted, so they let out, murderers and rapists. In fact, there's even an audio recording of a rapist laughing about getting away with it. So when you have all that, pretty much people can only really rely upon themselves, because no longer is it minutes of a response time from the police, it's many minutes. And the only person who can protect you is you. It's one of those things where you kind of have to believe a male can get pregnant to think that banning guns or even restricting them would make any difference whatsoever. You kind of have to keep criminals in the jail so they can't go out and beat people up, rape people, kill people, and stuff like that. You have to have cops on the street to keep the criminals from attacking people. If you don't have that, what else are people supposed to do? And even then, gun bans never stopped anybody because criminals will use whatever weapons they have at hand. If someone just attacked me with a butcher knife, I would want every advantage I had to not get my throat cut. This is basic logic, but if you live in a gated community and you have private security, you'll think that us peons don't need any of that because, well, it never happened to me. But it can happen. It does happen. And people use guns, AR-15s, to keep their lives from being ended by insane criminals. Insane criminals do exist, and they do hurt people. They do kill people. And guns are the one line of defense between you being alive today and being dead tomorrow. This is basic stuff, like how males cannot get pregnant. They don't have the lady bits to get pregnant. Oh no, am I going to get canceled for that? As for everything else, who knows? The inflation is going higher and higher, the gap between rich and poor is getting worse and worse, and this administration doesn't seem to really give a damn whatsoever. Get an electric car, live in a pod, eat bugs, and you'll own nothing and be happy. It's crazy, it's insane, and, well, I don't know. Let's go Brandon, right? And that's the politics. And so, with all that in mind, stick true to your dreams, even if the world tries to take you down. And so, until next time, I'm going to wish you good crack class cruiser and good M6D pistol, whatever makes you happy. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and please consider leaving a like or a comment as the algorithm desires your soul. And I want to thank all those fans who have supported this channel, both past and present.